Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. I hope this is a question that strikes a chord with everyone else.
It doesn't matter if you are asking it. Everyone will get something out of it.
Of course. I wanted to ask if you could comment on the relationship between sex and the human soul. It's more of an open question in the sense of wanting to understand what belief system you would advise for channeling this very powerful, amazing energy.
Sex
in a sexual way
is an alignment of all the different levels, thus then grounding the higher energy into physical energy in an aligned way and opening up channels within the body that allows for communication back to the higher level.
Beautiful.
It is the grounding of a circuit, the completion of a circuit, and thus then once the path has been defined, it is thus then the allowance of the lightning strike to align all the centers and allow for clear communication back to the higher levels. That's its fundamental function.
Yes.
Now, how it can be addressed, how it can be experienced, of course.
Right, without all the judgmental, burdensome value that we impose on it.
The idea sociologically is simply this. What any individuals prefer, what they choose to believe is preferable for themselves, simply needs to be communicated to others clearly and concisely so that all individuals involved in whatever the relationship form is all know what the belief systems of the other individuals are and are all given the opportunity to decide whether or not for them personally what is being offered is true for them or preferable for them. Other than that, no judgment need apply as long as there is consensus and consent among the idea of those that are capable of giving consent. Then, in that sense, it is all for a positive reason.
Completely agree.
Thank you.
So in which framework should we address the situations where, let's say, there's a lot of collateral damage in terms of, let's say, people abusing, let's say, children to raise their own vibration, to try to, in a false or wrong way, or without judgment, of course.
The idea, again, is to recognize that each and every individual must be allowed to be in touch with their true self, not to devalue any part of themselves, and to empower themselves with respect to all aspects of their being in a positive and loving way. And to know that there is always a way to express any aspect of the self in that positive way without the idea of being responsible for anyone else's reaction, but always being responsible to everyone else to be your true self in the best way you possibly can. Teaching that self-empowerment lesson to your children will allow them to grow up in a balanced and centered way and express all aspects of their being in the same and similar way of balance. Make sense?
Yes. That brings me to a follow-up question. Do we then form, as some people suggest, soul ties that last in our lifetime? Is it all based on a belief system? Let's say if
that
we
takes
believe
place on many different levels, beyond belief. Belief system is only a function of the physical reality. Beyond that, it's simply knowing.
Is there a law of knowing that there will be that? Regardless of what we believe.
There are only 4 laws in creation that we have ever found. Number 1, you exist. You can't change that, period.
Number 2, everything changes.
Number 2, the one is all, the all are one. Number 3, what you put out is what you get back. Number 4, everything changes except the first 3 laws. Everything is based on that. So when you talk about the idea of a law of knowing, not really, except as it keys into the idea as an expression of a combination of the 4 laws. The idea of making soul connections happens on a level above the idea of belief systems. It happens on a knowing level, and that can carry down into physical reality in many different ways. But there are such things as soul groups, soul connections, soul families. Just as you have families, just as you have friends, just as you have connections. It can happen on higher levels and does happen on higher levels and can express itself in many different levels. All right? Does that answer the question? Or
on a higher level, on
some
a higher
other
level,
idea?
Yes, it does answer on a very, I suppose, abstract level. In terms of, if we think of, without any, position of judgment or anything.
Yes.
when people term, let's say, casual sex, if you believe, no, that's fine, is it fine? Do we
Again,
carry the other person's
I will
burden?
repeat. When you explain yourself and your beliefs clearly to the other people in the relationship so that they know who you are, and they clearly and consciously consent to interact on the same level, no harm has been done.
Okay.
Make sense?
That makes full sense.
Thank
and
you.
I get it. I guess the other quick one was, well, a lot more important. How would we alleviate the collateral damage that happens through people channeling through, let's say, child prostitution, which happens?
Again, the idea of any so-called damage that has been done would require a deep understanding of the conditions and the belief systems that created the experience to begin with, and a sharing and a helping and an assistance to allow those individuals to learn from those choices and to choose other things that may result in more positive experiences from that point forward. Anything that has ever been experienced that is negative can always be turned around and always be used to create positive experiences. And sometimes many individual souls may actually choose to have a negative experience in order to really learn how to transform it into positive light. As we have often said, very often on Earth, we experience what we have termed the rubber band analogy. On Earth, you have rubber bands. You pull them back very far, and when you snap them, they go and they fly very far in the other direction. Well, many souls choose lives that do this. They will experience the idea of going and stretching and pulling themselves deep into darkness because they know the farther into darkness they go, when they finally use it in a positive way and let go, it will snap that much farther, that much faster into the light. So all negative experiences, if you choose to, can be turned into positive ones, and the degree of energy used to create the negative one can be representative of the degree of energy that can result on the positive side as well. Remember, many of you, we know, think of yourselves as a primitive culture. And we understand that in certain ways, technologically and so on and so forth, yes, all right, you may not always have the understanding or the advancement that other civilizations might have. But you must understand something very important energetically when it comes to negative and positive energy. There is a reason why we have called you the masters of limitation. Earth is an advanced school where you know you came because you were strong enough to explore the limitation to the depths that you have. Because by doing that, it shows you how strong you are and how much more you can then transform the darkness into the light when you finally choose to balance it. All right? So you are all earning your master's degrees on Earth.
All right. Thank you very much.